What's going on, everybody? It's your boy, Danny the Bull, back with another live stream. Today, we're going to talk about altcoins. A lot of them are pumping. We're seeing the market, Bitcoin, remaining up in that $37,000 range. And a lot of altcoins have started to pump recently. We're going to talk about which ones I like for the next cycle because we're getting closer, right? We've been in that disbelief section of the chart, looking like we're getting into that hope mode. I do believe that we'll see volatility. It's crypto, it's Bitcoin, and we know that it's quite volatile and goes up and down viciously at times, but it's a good time to position ourselves and really look towards next cycle, because the Bitcoin halving is coming in just 5 months. We're about to enter December and the halving is April. I'm going to talk about the altcoins I've been buying and what I think will do well next cycle. So let's see who we got up in here. MVE. Wes is waiting for that $5 OMI this bull run. Does OMI only go down? I think OMI's up 1 or 2% today, Wes. Justin in the house. What's good? SoulCal. Can you describe best way to buy these things? Yeah, I'll talk about where you can buy some of these coins. Also, SoCal, join I posted in the community section. There's a Telegram channel. You're a channel member. You can join that, and you can talk in there as well. We got Hodler in the house. We got Planet Profit in the house. Hodler says next cycle will be the end of diminishing returns. So do you mean that we're not going to have diminishing returns, or we're going to have diminishing returns after this cycle? I think that my head's always on a swivel, and I'm always wondering what could stand in the way of another proper bull run and strong cycle. And last week I had God's Entry on the channel. He was talking about recession fears and an inverted yield curve. And I think that it is true that the macro, we're not out of the woods in terms of the macro, right? Inflation has trended down. They have paused the rate hikes, but we're not out of the woods. And we'll see what happens in terms of, if there's a recession next year, how that affects markets. And if you look, there's fear of a recession because of the treasury yields. There's an inversion in treasury yields, basically, and this is an indicator for a recession in the future. Now, good news is that it's on a decline, so the inversion is getting less inverted. And if you look back in May, there was a 70% chance of a recession in the next 12 months. And now in October, there is a 46% chance of a recession, according to data. So something to think about. But barring, a recession, I think that things are looking really good. The setup is there. We've got possible ETF approval on the way. We know the halving is coming. Inflation trending down, and hopefully some rate cuts next year. So we're starting to see altcoins rally. Some of them have gone, we've seen 2Xs, 3Xs. If you're in playable games, you've seen a crazy run up. Let me pull up the chart. We're seeing crazy run ups. This is playable. Look at this chart. It's just almost parabolic. I think it did a 5X in the last month or so. And a lot of coins are really pumping, particularly I know like the gaming narrative and sector is hot, and that's as expected. Next cycle, I am positioning myself with gaming tokens that I think will do the best. And I'm going to go through some of them in this stream. I would be wary of buying into this FOMO. We know how volatile, like I said, crypto is and Bitcoin is. And I would expect Bitcoin to at least retest the $30,000 to $32,000 range, right? And there's always a chance that it dips below that and goes back to this $28,000 range before the halving, because we still do have quite some time. So if you're feeling FOMO watching a lot of these alts run, I think it's important to understand that there's still a lot of time and we're likely to get sharp corrections. And if Bitcoin does a 5 to 10% correction, you're likely to see 20 to 30% on alts. All right, so just something to keep in mind. Try not to FOMO. We're seeing a lot of crazy price action. If you didn't catch something, maybe wait for a retracement, or sometimes I'll nibble on a pullback and then wait for a retracement and really build my bag for the next cycle, because what we're seeing is just a glimpse of what we will see when a proper bull run hits. All right, we're going to see exponential gains happening fast. And if we buy these, if you load up early on and you're buying a lot of these assets at micro caps, you're going to ride them, many of them, into billion-dollar market caps, and real big gains are made in the altcoins. So let's see, let me get back into the chat here. Justin, hopefully we have time after the halving to accumulate. So let me see, let me bring up, this is kind of where we're at. So just as Benjamin Cohen talked about, this is the altcoin market. This is the total altcoin market. We put in a higher high for the first time in 2 years. Now we're likely to see a drop, but it's going to be, I'm sure, a higher low, right? We're not going to go back down to those previous levels, I'm sure, unless something crazy happens. But I do think that there is time to accumulate. This was retweeted by Ron, who we've had on the channel a couple times. And this is an index of altcoin season. Don't forget that the altcoin season index shows that altcoins are at the same level as in 2019, 2020. Right? That was the time when the foundation was laid for 100x gains. We're only at the beginning. Pretty exciting. So you look at the chart, pre-halving 2019, heading into 2020, and where we are now. And it's amazing how the cycle just repeats. And so again, I would expect some pullbacks, but I think there is time to accumulate. And I do think that the last month, the last couple of weeks, what we've been seeing is an indication of what's to come next cycle. And we see the narratives that are hot, the tokens that are going to outperform, and it'll give us an opportunity to act accordingly. Russ is diversifying away from OMI, as I'm scared to miss the next bull run. I would not be over leveraged in any one coin. No altcoin, specifically one from last cycle. So what tends to happen is new coins and new narratives win the new cycle and perform the best. I think OMI can do very well, and I still expect it to do very well, but I do think that there are a lot of tokens out there that are going to outperform, right? That's what we're going to talk about today. I want to start with this one, Rio. Now, if you watched my stream in October, I talked about three coins that I was, three alts that I was stacking. And one of them was Rio. And I love Rio for the next cycle. Rio is Relio Network, which is a real world asset play. So I think this is going to be a hot narrative. My strategy is to identify narratives that I think are going to be hot and then pick the best projects, or projects that I think are strong within that narrative. Real world assets is a hot narrative, the tokenization of everything, right? I don't think we're anywhere near that becoming a reality, but I think that just like in the last cycle, we weren't anywhere near metaverses becoming, mainstream, but that narrative took hold. I think real world assets is one that's going to take hold. And early on, I thought that Rio was going to be a hot token, because everywhere I looked in everyone's list, when I look at people that I follow, everyone who was into the RWA narrative listed Rio as something having big potential. So I talked about it in October, and it was 20 cents at the time. I started buying it. Here we go. Let's go back. I started buying it at 11 cents, 14 cents back in May or so. And I accumulated in that range. I added more in the 20-cent range. But look at this crazy run up it's had. It's 77 cents, which is absolutely crazy. And the crazy part is, I think that it's gonna run a lot more in the cycle. This has, I believe, a $34 million market cap at the moment. Fully diluted market cap is 57 million. Right now, I believe we're at $34 million market cap. And for the narrative and what it is, I can easily see it getting into, a billion, the low billions at least. And if this one got to, $3-4 billion market cap, you're talking about at $2 billion, it's $37, which is about a 50x from here. At $4 billion, it would be at about $75. And, when you talk about, it seems outrageous right now and crazy, but when you look at historical data, if you go back to last cycle, let me pull it up. Bear with me. I have too many. I'm going to have to pull it up a little later. If you look at last cycle at the peak in November of 21, there were 105 coins with over $1 billion market cap. At the current time, there are about 50 with over $1 billion market cap. So could Rio become a top 100 coin? I think absolutely. And I think that next cycle, as the total market cap swells of crypto, right? So we've had a $3 trillion total market cap for the whole asset class last cycle. This cycle, if we get to a $5-6 trillion in total market cap, you're going to see about, the top 200 coins with, in the $1 billion market cap range. So I think that, the tokenization of everything is a narrative that could produce coins in the $1 billion market cap range. I think Rio is positioned for that. It's run up tremendously. I'd be very hesitant to buy it at these prices. But I do think that it's one that could 50x from here, if things go well. Let's see who else we got in the house. FA first appearance. What's good? We got hodler. I think the percentage return will be higher than the last time due to inflation worldwide and excessive money printing. US alone has to print 3x the money they printed. Yeah, it's going to be interesting. So this is also, there are a lot of unknowns in terms of the macro, right? There are people on one side who think that we're headed towards Armageddon and a recession, economic collapse. On the other hand, there's the idea that they're going to turn the money printers back on and, kind of juice things again. And then that'll coincide with the run. So I do think, and I think Coin Bureau was talking about it, LEO Trades was talking about it, that this next run will be a monster run. And maybe the last really big run that we get as more as institutional money kind of floods into the system and things kind of stabilize a bit more down the line. But we'll see. SoCal, how to buy playable games. So playable, I think, might be on MEXC, or you can swap it in MetaMask. SoCal, join the Telegram group, and we will, we'll chat about it in there. I'll do some research, but that brings. Let's talk about the gaming sector, which has been on an absolute tear. I'll talk about some of the ones that I have and what I'm buying. So Nakamoto Games is one that I eyed for a while, but I didn't get in on early. I think it's still early, but you know what I mean, relative to where we are now. I did pick up a bag at around when it was like an $80 million market cap. It's now at $120 million. It just had another run up, $120 million market cap. It's just over the last month, it's run up 90%. But this is one that I think is going to do really well in the next cycle. If you look at their website, they have a bunch of, games already out. They just migrated to the Matic mainnet. There's a staking program. And they just have a bunch of playable games already, out there for people, play to earn stuff. It's a really strong project. And, these are the projects I think that, last cycle when we saw Sand and, Decentraland, go to $7 billion market caps, these gaming projects are going to do the same, if not more, I think, next cycle. So, even though Naka has run up quite a bit, it's at $120 million right now. I think it could still have a good 40x in it, or even 100x, depending on how high it goes next cycle. So that's one that I like. That one's already run up. I'll be looking to add to that on pullbacks. Medicaid is one that I've been buying that hasn't had the run up that a lot of these others have had, and maybe is undervalued relative to the others. So Medicaid is another. This one I found from Ron's Crypto Therapy, good friend of the channel. I've had him on a few times. They're undergoing, they're kind of like transforming their website. They just rebranded and changed their logo. They have a lot of new partners. They have a new game coming out in January. This is, again, another play-to-earn game. And is a solid project. And we'll talk about the price. So MCADE has run up a bit in the last month. I'm trying to see. It's up 123% in the last month. But it's still at a relatively low market cap. Well, $20 million market cap is still relatively low. I was buying this right around here. So I'm up about 60% on it, but that's like in 2 weeks or so. It's been a crazy run up. We'll see if these alts continue to run. I think if Bitcoin goes sideways for a period of time and and consolidates in a range, I think the alts are going to continue to do well. But when Bitcoin pulls back, I think we'll see a healthy pullback. But at $20 million, it's still a relatively low market cap. I like it for next cycle. It's one I've been stacking. Another one that's been on an absolute tear is Myria. And Myria is one I think will be similar to Gala. When I look at gaming projects, I like to invest in ecosystems. Because for me, it's hard to pick a game that's going to win, right? I think Illuvium will do well. I think Star Atlas will do well. A lot of the individual games. But I like investing in ecosystems because then if one or two games within the ecosystem do well, the whole project, will be carried by it. This Myria is, I believe, like a layer 2 on top of Ethereum for developers to build games on. And it's been absolutely printing. Take a look at the chart. It's up 200% in the last month. So this is one that I was buying in May of this year, and my regret is that I didn't buy enough. Picked some up in April or May, and it tanked. It dropped like 50%. The tokenomics of these, gaming projects aren't the best. Usually, a lot of them have like 10% in circulating supply, and a lot of them will enter circulating supply within the next year or two. So you have to keep that in consideration when you're projecting a price, right? There are going to be a lot more coins in circulation. It's going to change the market cap. But if you look at what Gala did last cycle, and Myria is very similar to Gala. Same type of project, I believe, right? And Gala was really one of the biggest winners last cycle. Went parabolic. I think it swelled to, I want to say, a $4 or $5 billion market cap. And since then, Gala's kind of had a black eye because the co-founders are warring with each other. They're suing each other for like stolen funds. There was drama over their token migration. And a lot of community members upset. So I think that Myria stands to benefit from, Gala's missteps. And Myria's market cap is currently, where is it? So the fully diluted market cap is 477 million, but it's currently, I want to say 20% of that. It's about $80 million market cap at the moment. So I do think that Myria stands a chance to do what Gala did last cycle, get to that $4 billion range, and which would, give it. I need to know how many tokens would be in circulating supply, but it would do many, many multiples from here. So I do like Myria a lot for next cycle. If there's a pullback on it, a healthy pullback, it's one that I would be looking to add. But I'm not chasing it as it's gone up 200% in the last month. Here's what SoCal was asking me about or talking about, playable games, which has gone absolutely nuts. And Ron's Crypto Therapy came on my channel, I want to say in the summer, and he mentioned playable games. It was less than $1 million market cap at the time. And let's take a look at where it is now. It's currently at a $54 million market cap. It was at less than $1 million when Ron came on the channel and we talked about it, and I didn't buy it. And the reason I didn't buy it was because I did research on it. And if you go to their YouTube channel, first of all, they have, what I like about it, and what I liked about it at the time was that they had just released this game called Nexus, I believe. Here it is, Nexus. You see it at the top. And Nexus had a good reception. I think there were like 25,000 people or something like that playing it, involved, in playing it. And it did well. But when I went to the YouTube channel, the person talking about the project and, as the spokesperson just didn't seem very professional. And I kind of gave it a pass. I looked past it and I bought some other things, which are fine because you can't catch them all, right? But it goes to show you that, crypto things just pop off, and this did a 50x in the last few months. So it's not one that I'm chasing. If it had a healthy correction, I'd consider buying. But look at the last month. It's up 1,200%, 1,200%. That's a 12x in the last month. Super crazy. But I think next cycle, playable games is another one to watch and to add to the list, the watch list, something that I may pick up, if we get a nice healthy correction. Another one that I was just introduced to by a friend on Twitter is WAGMI Games. And I like this one based off of my initial research because they've got games going on, that are playable. They're powered, they're unimmutable. They're going to be working with GameStop. Coming soon to Google Play, the App Store. You see a lot of the people working in there have experience with a bunch of big brands. They have their NFTs that they're minting, and they have a community who are buying them. And it's also at a market cap that I like. And I was tipped off about WAGMI yesterday, and I bought some. And look at it. This is the last day. This is a daily chart. That's the monthly. So you can see it's heading back to all-time highs, but it's up like 30% or something in the last day. It's got a market cap. Oh, this is not the right one. I'm sorry, guys. Hold up. I was going to say that didn't look. Wrong chart. Let me see. Let me try to get the proper chart on here, but it's up. Here we go. 7 days, 60%. Since I bought it, it's up about 40%. It's heading back to all-time highs. So currently at a market cap of 44 million. This is one that will benefit from an IMX. So I like it because it's in the gaming sector. It's on IMX. And, if IMX pops off, you're going to see a bunch of its projects pop off. So I added this one, $40 million market cap. Still, I think, relatively low, but again, it's recently run. And then this is kind of a degen play here. This is VEMP, and this has a market cap of something like $2 or $3 million. Let me pull this one up. this is Vemp. It's up 129% in the last month. Really, in the last couple days, it did 100% in one day. I caught it after it did this initial pump of about, I forgot what it was, maybe 80% or even 90%, but it went up another 50% afterwards. And it's only got a $2.5 million market cap. So, it's recently run. This is something that is not a long-term hold for me, but seeing how hot the sector is, if Bitcoin continues to go sideways and a lot of the gaming coins continue higher, I can see this getting to a $5-10 million market cap, which would put it at a 2 to 4x, just based off of the whole market moving. But this isn't one that I would hold for next cycle. They do have some games on there. They look kind of like Epico Regal style game, Clash of Champions style games. They have this game on Tara, Raiders and Royals. And this is releasing in 2024. And it's billed as a classic build and battler mobile game similar to Clash of Clans. So when this token was released, the chart looks similar to other tokens. It went up to 55 cents. So, it's one to watch. And like I said, it's not something that it's not as high. It's not a high conviction play for me. But part of my strategy during this cycle is going to be to ride narratives. And, what we're going to see is things pump. We'll see Naka pump, games for a living pump, which I'll get to games for a living in a second. All these coins pump. And then people are going to look to coins in the sector that haven't yet pumped. And that's why I bought this one yesterday, just to get in, maybe get some gains out of it, not a large position, get out and funnel the money into a more high conviction play. And speaking of more high conviction play, it's games for a living, which is one that I like a lot. And the reason being that, again, they have real games out there. There are 3 games that are there right now that are out. But I think this is a platform for Web3 developers to come and build games. And I think that the initial 3 games that were created are more for, I don't think that they're going to be like, big successes. I think they were created more to demonstrate the capabilities of the platform and to attract developers. But what I really like about this project is the team. Let me find them. And I've talked about this. So this is the CEO, Manel Sort, and he was the vice president of Barcelona, King Barcelona, which is the biggest mobile gaming company. They're the ones behind Candy Crush and a number of other, games. So huge, he had a lot of success over there. And then Trip Hawkins, this guy, the CSO, the co-founder, he is the founder of EA Sports. And so this is a stellar team. And the founder tokens don't unlock for a few years. They have a stellar team. And when you combine, the gaming narrative with, the guy from King Barcelona, the guy who founded EA Sports, I think that games for a living can do very, very well. And this is also one that I mentioned over a month ago, and I've been stacking this. I've been talking about it and stacking it. This is the yearly chart. It's been on a steady uptrend. right? It's now heading towards, 5 cents, it looks like. But, every time I've expected a major pullback, it hasn't quite happened. And so I've been buying this at, 2 cents. I started, I dollar cost averaged more at 3 cents. And I bought a little more in the upper 3 cent area. And now it broke 4 cents. $55 million market cap. So still half the market cap of Nakamoto Games, of Naka. So I think it has room to grow. But again, everything is susceptible to Bitcoin and the whole market going down. So again, I'm not chasing these run-ups. If anything, I DCA small amounts and then I wait for pullbacks, and that's when I'll really build out my positions. But in terms of next cycle, I really like games for a living. I really like Naka. I really like Myria, Medicaid, and I do like playable games and WAGMI games. So when I build a basket, and that's what I'm doing, is I don't know which of these is going to win. So I'm building a basket of gaming tokens, and my belief is that some of them are going to go into many billion-dollar, they're going to have market caps in, the billions of dollars, and they're going to produce 50x returns, 100x returns. Let me get back to the chat. There's been a lot of chat here. Let's see, Mr. Planet Profit. I'm going to get to some other non-gaming tokens that I really like in a second. What better than an ecosystem built on Bitcoin? I don't know, STX. I will check it. I'm basing my 2024 strategy off the Simpsons predictions. Nice. I don't look at the new now narrative. Look at the middle bull run agenda. Yeah, so I think that the gaming narrative is going to be strong throughout this cycle. I don't think it's going anywhere. I think it's one that we expected to play out since last cycle, and that one that is easy to understand for people. So when you talk about like retail investors, they don't understand narratives of like, layer 2 solutions and DeFi protocols and things like that. Retail understands things like gaming, metaverse, etc. So these are broad narratives that appeal. Justin, Myria is on one, correct. Yeah, I would agree with that, SoCal. Don't chase green candles. And Muhammad brings up Crowny, and you put me on to this one. So I guess I'll get to it now. One of the things I'm looking at and thinking about is I believe that Solana is going to, we see the strength of Solana in this early part of the bull, whatever you want to call it. We see how strong it is. It's kind of leading the way. And I think that Solana is going to continue to do well. And so what's going to happen, I believe, is that a lot of the money from Sol is going to funnel into throughout the Solana ecosystem. And so I've been looking for projects within the Solana ecosystem that might do well. And I've just started doing research, and I just set some small positions up. I don't know if I'm going to keep these for the long term, but one of them is, it's not loading. Well, I'll get back to that one. This is Crowny, and this was Muhammad actually brought this up to me on Twitter. So Crowny's been around for a little while, and Solana has a partnership with Shopify, right, where they're integrating their stablecoin with Shopify, and Crowny is working to integrate with Shopify. And so it's an interesting project. Very small market cap, which I love also. And I'll bring up Crowny. It's at a little under a penny, market cap of under $4 million. So $3.8 million. And this is one that I think could benefit from, Sol having a lot of success. And especially, as we get into the bull run and that Shopify partnership and all these other partnerships play out, this is one to watch. I haven't done a full deep dive on it, but I did take some profits from my Sol bag and I put some into this when it was about 0.007 maybe. So I like Crowny in my initial assessment. This is, let me see if I can load the screen. This is not loading, but this one is Sol Casino. So Sol Casino token. It is a Web3 casino gambling play, which I like having exposure to the gambling sector. The casino was founded in 2021. A bunch of games in there. I think they're integrating sports betting. They're integrating also, I think, the ability to buy crypto in there. And they have NFTs. They have these bears, Sol Casino bears that you can stake and get rewards from. You stake them in the casino and you can get, I think right now they're paying out $10 to $13 a day, Sol Casino bears. One bear costs about 27 Sol. So it's not cheap. It's about $1,000. But from what I hear from people, it's yielding about $10 to $13 a day, which is about $300 a month, right? So if that yield continues over 3 months, that pays for the bear. And then it's all, money printing, passive income off of the staked NFT. But Sol Casino I like because, one, it's in the ecosystem. It's an active online casino that was founded in 2021, so it's not brand new. It's in the gambling sector. Its market cap is 7.5 million. When I bought it, it was around here. So maybe 0.0058, I think, was my price point. But in the last month, it's up 200%. Still a very, very small market cap, though. 7.5 million. So, I can see something like this. The 10X it's still at a $75 million market cap. And, you have to be careful with alts and your allocations because they're dangerous, right? Anything could go wrong. They can go to zero. So I wouldn't over allocate to any small alt, but unless you have high conviction in it and you've done a ton of research, but the reward in the small alts is much greater, right? So, I maybe put like, $500 in this, not a lot of money. And I'm going to do a deep dive research on it. And if it's something that I have a lot of conviction in, then maybe I'll hold it. If I have an expectation of a certain market cap. If I don't have a lot of conviction in it, if there are red flags or things that I don't like about it, then, I'll use it to hopefully, do a 2-3x, whatever it is, and then funnel that money into a high conviction play. But those are the two so far from the Sol ecosystem that I like. They also have their own oracle called PIF, PY. This just came out, I believe. Yeah, this is kind of brand new. This is their chain link. I hear good things about it, but this is their oracle, their chain link. Currently at a $600 million market cap. But, this is something that could get into the, tens of billions. It's an oracle. An oracle basically feeds data. It's like a decentralized data source. So that's another one to, it's a bigger cap. So I'm not really interested in that. but that's another one. I think that the Sol ecosystem is going to produce some good winners, some big winners. Last cycle, there was some Cardano projects that did very well, and people made a lot of money on them. So I'm going to watch the Sol ecosystem very closely and monitor it for potential winners. Hodler, yes, altcoin party. When is the party going to stop, though? And that's something that we also have to be mindful of. We can't get, I'm seeing people, and I'm one of them, posting like the chart going up. It's important not to get euphoric and ahead of yourself, because that's when you kind of like chase those green candles, like SoulCal was saying. What spread percentage are you? How many average money per bag? Yeah, so basically for me, for the ones that I don't have any real conviction in, like that I haven't done a ton of research on, like Soul Casino or Crowny, which I just got introduced to, I open small positions of like $400 or $500. Things that I have more conviction in, Medicaid, Gfal, those are more sizable. Those are, yeah, a little more sizable. And again, I'm kind of also rolling money from some of my winners that I've had, because I loaded up a lot on Sol at $8, $13, Cardano at 25 cents, and Bitcoin at $15,000, $18,000. OMI might be the best buy right now. Yeah, let's look at that OMI chart. The thing is that OMI still has $160 million market cap. So it hasn't run. Here's the monthly on OMI. So doesn't this suck, right? When all the others, all the other charts are heading up and to the right. OMI is still stagnant. But I'm just patient with OMI. I'm not worried about it. It's a wait and hold. But I have my bag of OMI, and I want to keep my portfolio balanced, and I want to spread out. I'm not over allocating to any one token. And I do think that it's going to be outperformed by some of the newcomers. Which ones exactly? Who knows? But it is important, I think, to diversify and just spread your seed a little. Yeah, I'm not really into the domain names, but I see that. Yeah, smash the likes. Thanks, Hodler. I'm going to give you a good value one right now that I love. This is a token that I've been buying and talking about. I've been talking about it since the summer. This is another one that Ron introduced me to, so give him a follow. And that is Mask with a Q. So Mask is a security privacy token. I like that narrative as well. As you know, the government gets more intrusive, there are more restrictions, big corporations are selling your data. I think that that privacy narrative becomes stronger and stronger. So it's a decentralized VPN, but it's much more than that. Give them a look. I like the founders. They've been building for 4 years. Okay, there was no ICO on this token. It was fair launch, no ICO. It is fully diluted. It's 95% diluted. So the coins in existence, there are 34 million Mask tokens that are in circulation, with a total supply of 37 million. So this is 95% diluted. I love that. I love that they didn't have an ICO. and, fundraise and get money from VC that they're beholden to. They've been building out the tech for 4 years and have gone into beta. They have an actual working project. I know people who are using the product. They have a working product. I know people who are using it. The mask token integrates within it. It's got utility already that unlocks access to the VPN. The founders have been working hard for 4 years, and it's still. So I started buying this, and I was talking about it. If you watch my video in October, it was at 20 cents. I started buying this at like 17 cents. I averaged up. So I bought more up until about the 30-cent range. My average buy is 24 cents, and it's currently at 44 cents. It's currently retesting the all-time high, 50 cents. It got rejected in its first attempt. It'll likely test that a couple more times. This still only has a $15 million market cap. So this is one that I am not looking to sell after like a 3 or 4x. This is one that I'm going to hold for the next cycle. If you look at another privacy token that was very hot, was Ator. This swelled to $150 million market cap. It's currently at 100 million. Ator recently, you see this huge dip right here. It plummeted from its high of $2, $2.12, all the way down to 60 cents because there was something, it was compromised. The tech was compromised, which is a huge problem, right? When you're talking about, I don't know the details, but it's a huge problem when you're talking about privacy. And now they're changing direction. They're changing their roadmap. Mask, by comparison, which no one really knows about yet, is still a fraction of that market cap, even though it's doubled in the last, month or whatever. Let's see, in the last month, it's up 89%, but still only has a $15 million market cap. I can see Mask, doubling and tripling from here, and it will still only have a $45 million market cap. It's a project that I like for the cycle. Now, again, you learn from Ator, and Ator was being shilled by like Chicken Genius Singapore. If you follow him, he's, an influencer who got rich on Tesla. A lot of people were hyped off of Ator, and kind of like the rug got pulled out from them. It wasn't a rug, but I mean, like, things went sideways. That's something to keep in mind for any altcoin that you're investing in. Things can always go sideways. It's, that thing that you don't know that sidetracks you or that blindsides you, which is why it's important not to over allocate to any one alt. They're all very risky, but with risk comes reward. And again, if you look at the winners last cycle, buying Decentraland down here, and this is kind of where we're at. We're here. This was, let's see, 2019, December 2019 is kind of right, like 6 months before the last halving. And Mana was 2.5 cents. It ran up, and by the end of December, it had gone up almost double. Then it went up some more. So sometimes these small coins go, and then they go up some more. And it's hard to time them, which is why, I don't chase green candles, but I also don't try to get too cute. In trying to time everything, because, it happened for me with games for a living. I wanted a good entry, and I started buying it again in this 2-cent range, 2.5-cent range. But I didn't feel like my bag enough. I wanted more. I wanted like a certain amount. And then it just kept on running. And it went up, it touched that 3 cents. And at that time, I had sold off some of my stocks that I was up in, and I was looking to put in, to buy stuff up. I had to make a decision. Do I wait for lower or buy? But I saw this chart is just like a continuing uptrend. And I didn't want to run the risk of getting left behind. And so I bit the bullet and I bought. And at the time, I couldn't see what was next, right? So we had just come up, it was just on like a 30% hike. It had just run up. And I bought a good bag. In hindsight, now that looks like a good purchase, right? Because sometimes these just continue to run up. And, it's hard to time them. I do expect a correction after this run up, but maybe Bitcoin goes sideways for another month. It stayed range bound for 6 months between March and October. 6 months of fluctuating between 25,000 to 30,000. So I expect a correction, and will definitely, I'm sure, come back to retest 32,000, 30,000. But it's possible that we stay range bound between 30,000 and 38,000 for a few months. Right? I mean, a lot of people expect to revisit 28,000, 25,000. I don't think we go below 25,000 again this cycle, unless there's a black swan event or something happens that's unpredictable. I don't think we go back. Look how much support is here. We spent 6 months. What would have to happen to send it back below 25? Maybe 28. Worst case, in my opinion, is 25. But who knows? There are people who are calling for lower. Point is, if Bitcoin goes sideways for a while, it's possible that, we see some continued gains out of some of these tokens. And so it's hard to time the market, right? It's hard to time the market. So, maybe sometimes I'll just wait for that pullback in DCA, and that's the way. Metaverses are 3 years away. Yep. Let's go back in here. Yes, Senate. I see that, Justin. Senate did a huge run up. What's up? Machi from Hamburg, Germany. What's good? JT. Oh, JT, can you message me again? I didn't see I know that you won the giveaway. Please, I didn't see your DM. Nice. SoCal joined. So if you want to become support the channel, if you are a channel member, I set up a Telegram to talk alts and things like that. If you're interested in supporting the channel, it's $2.99 a month, a cup of coffee. I'd appreciate it. Justin, get ready, gamers. Yes, sir. Zach, I'm up 2x on Miria. Yeah, Miria has been a monster and has a lot of upside. What's good, Jordan in the house? What's good, Jimbo Lee Lingo? Did you take a peek at Crown? No, I didn't. I'm going to write it down. I think you had mentioned that on Twitter. Pavle in the house. What's good? 500 million Omi. That's crazy. That's a lot. Punch has a lot. Vemp. Yeah. So Vemp, again, I don't know too much about it. But a $3 million market cap, you know, if the market continues to run up, and if Naka's on its way to 150 million, if Gfal goes to 100 million and Medicaid goes to 50 million, I can see Vemp going to 10 million. It's kind of a degen play for me. It's Danny Degen in the house. Here we go. Oh, I got a new channel member here, OG Vault. What's good? Thank you, brother. You could go to the community page, and the link for Telegram is there. Yeah. Go to the community page. There's a link for Telegram. And if you can't get in, just shoot me a DM. What else we got here? I got a couple more tokens that I like that I want to take you guys through. Let me get through the chat a little bit. Jordan still wants to stack more Omi. Yeah. I think Omi will do well next cycle. I'm at a phase, though, in my own portfolio building. So my strategy was buy Bitcoin and Ethereum when prices were low, and buy the blue chips that I like, the layer ones, which were Solana and ADA. And the one altcoin that I was stuck with was Omi, and I stacked Omi. Now I'm at a point where I believe that, I know that if history repeats, those 100Xers, you know, Omi has a chance to do 100X from 0005, but I think it's unlikely. I think there's going to be a ton of sell pressure. I think Omi is more likely to do from here, could do a 20X, maybe a 30X. But again, I think some of these coins are going to do 100Xs. And so I'm at that point where now I'm building out that part of my portfolio and creating a basket of possible 100X gainers, because even if you don't hold to 100X, right, it's hard to hold to 100X. But if you get a 50X gain off $1,000, you're talking about $50,000. That's where that crazy money is made in crypto. And the good news is that we're all here from last cycle. It really takes a couple of cycles to capitalize and to learn the process. If you stick through a cycle, you learn how it plays out. You learn what to do for the next cycle. And then it's just a matter of, you know, picking the right ones, accumulating, and waiting. And in terms of micro caps, I think it's best to spread out a little, spread your seed, because it's unclear which ones are going to take hold. But the ones that do are going to be the biggest winners of the year, of the cycle. Yeah, bull is a good one, man. And one I'll probably be adding on a pullback. But I have a nice portfolio now, a nice basket of gaming tokens. And I think it's also important to understand that you can't catch them all, and don't get down if you see something doing 100X and then sell something to chase that. Or if you see something do a 50X, there are going to be a number of tokens that do well. And there are a lot of opportunities. And we're going to have, if history repeats itself and we get a full cycle that's not interrupted by nonsense like a recession or some crazy regulation, you're going to get coins that have not launched yet. And that was, I believe that was Sandbox last cycle, launched after the halving in November of 2020. So that's well after the halving. You're going to get tokens that launch during the cycle. And I was watching a video by Alex Becker. When I think about my strategy for next cycle, you got to take profits. You have to sell things. You have to extract money from the market. That's the whole point, right? Is to invest early and put money in when things are low and then extract money from the market. And he made a good comparison. He likened it to riding an elevator. And so you find something that can do a 5x or a 10x and you ride the elevator up and you get off the elevator and you take some of that money, put some of it aside, profit taking, reinvest some more, find another one on the floor, ride it up. And during a proper bull run, these opportunities are going to present themselves. It's a matter of keeping your head on the swivel and paying attention to them and having your eye on things. And that's what we're doing here, right? When we're talking about playable games, talking about games for a living and all these tokens. And, when I talked about them a month ago, and I was buying them, but I wasn't buying enough of them, to be honest. Like, I wished I bought more Miria. I know Jordan Riz is in here. He bought a bunch of Miria. And it's become a big winner for him. I know Doctor of Stuff is in Miria and Crypto Reigns in Miria. And so, filling the bags when prices are low, finding the narratives, and you don't need, there are going to be many narratives that play out. The gaming sector is one of them. I think that AI is another one that's going to do well. Another one is here. Here's another token that I've been buying that's actually down now. I need to do more research on it. But Taraxa is a block DAG. It's a ghost DAG protocol. It's got AI integrated into it. I like it. If you've been following the biggest winners, I think maybe the biggest winner early on has been Kaspa. Kaspa on the year has done 1,400% all time. Kaspa launched at the end of 2022. So a little over a year ago. It's up 71,000%. Now it's hard to understand and buying down here because that's like super, super early, right? Now, Crypto Rain is kind of good at these things, right? These are the things that he looks for. I don't know if he got into Kaspa, but it's a lot of research and work goes into finding them down here. But, I had heard about Kaspa at a penny, and the narrative is strong around it because, one, it solves, and it's not something I'm buying now. This has gone to almost a $3 billion market cap, and it's not even a proper bull run yet. This is in the top 30 coins. That's crazy. But it's a layer 1, I believe. It's got a new type of blockchain technology. Don't ask me about it because I'm not a tech guy, but effectively it solves the trilemma. So there's a trilemma in crypto with layer 1s: scalability, speed, and security, right? Like, so Ethereum is secure, but it's relative. It's not fast compared to like Solana. So it's secure, it's not quite scalable, and it's not fast. Solana, on the other hand, is fast, is semi-secure, right? Some would say, because it's broken down sometimes, but it's scalable, right? So but it doesn't have like the security features, right? Sometimes like it broke. That was the knock on Solana, was that it would break. So with this new technology, it's supposed to solve the trilemma of the layer ones. Additionally, it was a fair launch, and it's a proof of work like Bitcoin. So tokens are mined. And so people call it Bitcoin, like the silver to Bitcoin's gold, right, is the narrative. It's going to have smart contracts, but it still doesn't even have smart contracts out yet. And it's swelled to almost a $3 billion market cap. I can see Caspa pulling, like a Cardano on its first. In Cardano's first cycle, it didn't have smart contracts. It wasn't fully fleshed out, but that narrative was so strong and the brand was strong, and it went to whatever, like maybe a $50 million market cap first cycle. I think last cycle, Cardano went to a $90 billion market cap. And so while this has run up, and I wouldn't buy it at these levels, I think that Caspa is going to end up in a proper bull run with, it can do like a 30 or $40 billion market cap, which is a little crazy, but crypto is a crazy place. I want to bring up historical data, and then I'm going to get into the token that I like instead of it. Crypto historical data, November. Let's pick. So these are the market caps in the height of the last cycle. They're likely to be higher this cycle. So right now, Caspa's at a number 26, and it's super hot. The 26th coin of last cycle was Axie at an $8 billion market cap. I would expect Caspa to get into the top 20, maybe even become a top 10 coin. So I expect Caspa to get into the, $20, $30 billion market cap. I think that's totally doable. But it's already run up so much. And when I'm looking towards next cycle, so Taraxa is another DAG that is similar in technology. It already has smart contracts. On the flip side, I don't believe it's a proof of work. So it's not quite like Caspa, but it is a ghost DAG. And I think that when people look for the next Caspa, because that's how this space works, people see something go, 100x, 1,000x, 10,000x, and they look for what's next, what's valued, what's cheap in comparison. And Taraxa is currently at a $60 million market cap. It's currently in consolidation. So this is actually one. In the last month, it's up 230%, but that was at like the beginning of the month. It's been consolidating in the last week or so. So I've been adding in this range. I might be down a little on it. I think my average price on Taraxa is like a penny and an eighth, 1.018, something like that. But a $60 million market cap. If that one holds up, and if Caspa goes to $20 billion, $30 billion, will people look to something like Taraxa? And could that get to $1 billion market cap? Yes, I think so. And if you look at the historical snapshot from last cycle, all of these projects got to $1 billion. I don't know some of them. Hollow, Waves, AMP. I know AMP. But Arweave, I know. Cello, I don't know that. $2 billion. Curve, DAO token, almost $2 billion. NEM, I don't know that. $1.5 billion. Wax, I don't know. I know. Is that? I don't know. Wax, no. $1.5 billion. All of these. Mina, 1.3 billion. Secret token. I think it's a secret what it does. I've never heard of this. $1 billion. So, I mean, is it possible that something like Taraxa gets to $1 billion in market cap? I think it's possible. Again, could something go wrong? Absolutely. I wouldn't over leverage in any small alt, but when I'm looking to create a diversified portfolio of small micro caps or small caps, I would like to ride that Caspa wave. Whether it happens or not, we'll see. But I'm not. So the circulating this is about 40%, 35, 40% in circulating supply. I don't know how aggressive the unlock is. So there's still some research to be done. I think another one that's similar is, I don't know where it is. LYRE, but I can't find it here. Is another one. But I do I do have a position in Taraxa. Let's get back in the chat. 53 people in here. Make sure that you smash the like button. My plan is to do weekly streams, hopefully, on altcoins, because I like it. So Vault wants to buy 1 million OMI. Let's get it. Does anyone in the States play these games? No. And that's a funny thing. Is that, you're going to see. So I think what happens is the speculation front runs the technology. And that happens all the time. That's another example, right? That's the metaverse thing from last cycle. The narrative front ran the technology. And I do think you're going to get, I think Star Atlas is launching next year, or if I'm not mistaken, that's like they call them AAA games, right? I looked at the trailer for Star Atlas, and Star Atlas is at a $50 million market cap. But the trailer looked insane. So I do think that we're going to get these games coming out. And if one game catches fire, like Axie did last cycle, Axie went crazy. When a game like Axie goes crazy, don't chase Axie. Chase the small caps that people will liken to Axie, right? That's a strategy. That's got to be the strategy. So when you're a retail investor, you are caught chasing the hot coins. So retail was buying Sandbox. They were buying Axie after they had already run up. They were chasing. Right? They were buying up here. And then it kept on going higher, so they felt good. But then it crashed, and they held because they didn't realize it was crashing, right? Because you don't go straight down. You go down, then you go up. And so you think you're going higher. Then you go down, and then you go up. And by the time you realize it, it's too late. And so if you've lived through a full cycle, you should know, don't chase the winners. You can't catch them all, right? If something has already done 100x, 200x, find the token that people are going to make it a comparable to, right? Find the assets that are going to be likened to Axie. And last cycle, we saw anything that was connected to a metaverse start running. We're seeing that on a small scale right now. but it's a very small scale with still very small market caps. But if things play out, when Axie went to $8, or $10, it had already done, a 20x. It had already done a 20x. From there, it did another, 15x. Another 15x. So some of these tokens have already done a 5x or a 10x. And we think it's too late. But, it's really not in the long scheme of things. Many of them are going to go on to do 100x's from here, 50x's from here. So again, I really like Rio for next cycle. When it first came out, it went to $4. I think it's going to blow past that as long as nothing bad happens. Because when you talk about the real world asset narrative, so you're talking about a narrative that's going to be talking about trillions of dollars, right? Where they're talking about tokenizing, trillions of dollars. And so, it's not going to be crazy to see some of these RWA tokens valued at $5 billion, $10 billion. So that one has run up. But, if it dropped, and I have a nice bag of this, if this dropped a little bit, 50-cent range, did a little correction, I would probably add to my bag. I like Rio for next cycle, and the strength of it early on, I think, is promising. Literally no Web3 games that are popular. Of course, yes. And that's okay. That's okay, because everything is driven by hype and speculation. And what's going to happen if history repeats? You're going to see these tokens go to $10 billion, $20 billion market caps, and then they're going to go down 95%. This time is different, is what people are going to say, and it's not going to be different. And all it takes is one hit, a Web3 hit, to legitimize things. And then it's kind of game on. OG Vault is into NFTs. Let's see what else we got in here. Damn Punch. He's got a big bag of OMI. Wes, watch the Solana blockchain, man. I think you're going to see a lot of things pop off on that ecosystem. It's still early. It's in the second cycle. And if you look at their active wallets, they just went crazy. If you look at Sol active wallets, look at this. It's running up. It's going to continue to run up. And people are going to be building on it. People are going to be taking profit from Sol, and they're going to be moving things around. So watch the ecosystem. But again, you don't have to watch every sector, every ecosystem. For me, I'm going to focus on a couple of sectors, maybe a few. Create a strong network of people that are knowledgeable, which is another thing. Surround yourself with really smart people and people who have expertise in different niches and areas. And you can't catch them all, but you don't have to. What's good, Trip? Vault Vision. I was buying IMX under 70 cents, then it dumped, then it pumped pretty good. I wasn't done buying. You think Matic will be similar? It was following close. Matic has been kind of slow. And I think IMX is going to outperform it. I don't know what is going on. Give me a second. Yeah, Matic. So a lot of these bigger caps are trailing right now because the smaller caps are moving faster. Matic is coming from a $7 billion market cap. I think it will do well this cycle. IMX, though, I think does better. At only a $2 billion level, little less than $2 billion in market cap for IMX. I think it'll do more multiples, but we'll see. I think that gaming narrative will benefit IMX. It's got that on top of plus the layer 2 narrative, right? Whereas Matic doesn't have that. Nice. Plus, Pavle's giving out OMI every day until the Bitcoin halving. So let us know how people can take advantage of that. Let me see what else we got. Loving all the alts. Yeah, man. It's exciting. Crypto's exciting again. I think it's important not to get too euphoric. There will be pullbacks. There will 100% be pullbacks in the market. We still have a ways to go. There are people who think that Bitcoin will do a 50. I think Benjamin Cohen put out a poll asking, let's see. Will Bitcoin see a 50% correction before the halving? 44% of people think yes. I don't think so. A 50% correction would put us at 19,000, about almost 20,000. I don't see it. But it's crypto and anything can happen, right? And so it's important not to manage the emotions and the euphoria. You can't, not to celebrate, it's nice to get those wins and see these alts running because we've been down for so long, beaten down, and the market's been down, that it feels great. But we have a ways to go before the halving. Good 5 months. And in that time, maybe we'll get an announcement of the ETF being delayed, and maybe that'll cause a dump. Maybe the DOJ goes after Tether, right? I think that it's good that the Binance story is mostly behind us. That I felt was could have been a black swan event with there's been a 5-year investigation into Binance, and if Binance went down, that was a prospective black swan event. But I feel like that'll be avoided. But, there's still a lot of uncertainty. What if something happens with Tether? Now that the DOJ has access to Binance's books and, they find manipulation and all these things with Tether and go after stables, and that could cause uncertainty in the market. The point is, Bitcoin and the whole market, we have 5 months before the halving. So will Bitcoin hit 40K before the halving? I will vote yes. And 79% of people agree. Yeah, I do think we'll get to 42K before the halving. Maybe 48, we'll see. And then what do the alts do also, right? So that's the other thing. There's the downside risk. Also consider Bitcoin's, it's inevitable. It's knocking on the door. It's trying to break that 38.5 resistance. If it breaks 38.5, it's going to 42. And so hard to time it, right? That's why if it does end up breaking 38.5, you know, these alts will continue to run. So it's really unpredictable. I don't know. My expectation is we get a pullback, but we shall see. Jordan Riz, similar portfolio. It's funny to watch Omi get flipped by coins. My Omi bag got flipped by my Rio bag, and it's about to be flipped by my mask bag. So yeah, no exchanges, and this is why. Gaming coins are on fire, correct? Hopefully they get Omi on an exchange. Yeah, they need the catalyst. So Omi, because it's got no token awareness. Look, people, if you watch what people are doing, they're looking for new coins. No one is looking for last cycle's coins. And that's how crypto works. People will look for the new narratives, the new coins, and they're going to pump. Omi, on the Omi side, the team needs to deliver on utility and exchanges. And then Omi will do well and turn around and, do that 10x, 20x, etc. Mo in the house, what's good? Shrap is, Shrap is a gaming token. And it looks pretty legit. $52 million market cap, up 127%. Looks pretty legit. I looked at the game. You look at, I forget where Illuvium went last cycle, but Illuvium went really high. And so I do think you're going to see games like this. As long as they keep building and get a community behind them, they can do well. Personally, I prefer ecosystems, but this is another promising one. Yeah, you know what? I do need to buy Bull because it's in the name. You are correct. So I'm going to buy a bag of Bull. Wes, better job at reading comments. I don't do Telegram, just joining to support the channel. I might start buying some alts. Oh, thanks, Vault. Appreciate you supporting the channel. If we had no exchanges, I'm sure Omi would move with the rest of the market. Yeah, if we had big exchanges, I agree with that. And I do think exchanges hopefully come next year. I don't want to say they will come because we've been let down before. But David mentioned an expiry. He mentioned being hamstrung by the expiry or expiry. I'm assuming that has to do with a lawsuit. We know that one was settled, one is in the midst of being fought. But maybe that has something to do with their stagnation. How does one know what is an undervalued fair price? By comparables like house hunting? Yeah, I think so. Definitely by market cap. Don't look at token price. Look at market cap. Token price will fool you because something that's a penny, like for instance, Omi is a fraction of a penny, is more valued than some of those tokens that are 2 or 3 cents or even 20 cents because its market cap is 166 million compared to a $50 million market cap. So for me, I look at comparables. When I look at something like Solana, I look at Ethereum's market cap. If Ethereum gets to a $1 trillion market cap, I think Solana should be a minimum 10% to 20% of that. Last cycle, Solana traded at 20% of Sol's market cap, I think, at its peak. So I would expect for Solana to get to 200 billion, which would put it at, I want to say $300 to $400. Similarly, if something like Naka goes up to $1 billion market cap, and Gfal is still trending below, but is producing and has good fundamentals and a solid team, I would think that's undervalued. And currently, Naka, compared to Naka, I think Gfal is a little undervalued. Gfal is also on Binance Smart Chain. And I think there's been, with all the outflows out of Binance and all the FUD around Binance, I don't know if that affected Gfal in the last couple of weeks. It's just breaking out now. But that's also. Yeah, so Bumper's one I know that Rain loves, and a lot of people in the community like. I haven't done a deep dive on it, but I'm going to. It's gone up 88% in the last month. Still only a $5 million market cap in that financial sector. So I haven't done enough. Let me see. It's got about 35-40% of coins in circulation. I'm going to do research on Bump and let you guys know. A lot of projects have pumped. We don't want to chase green candles. Are you waiting for a big retracement? So I expect a bit of a retracement. At the same time, I wouldn't be surprised if Bitcoin goes sideways, and things continue to run. So for me, I'll tell you like what I've done. I'm going to use Mask as an example. So Mask has been running up. It's 90% up in the last month. But at only a $16 million market cap and below its all-time high, and it's tested its all-time high, I think it's going to, if this market goes sideways, I can see Mask breaking through its all-time high and going into price discovery mode. When it goes into price discovery, that's when you see those big gains. You saw it here, right? From 30 cents to 50 cents. Once it breaks resistance, right? It broke through this 40-cent resistance. If it breaks through this 52-cent resistance, it's going to price discovery mode. Does it go to 60 cents, 70 cents, 80 cents? Would I be surprised if it went up 100%? I wouldn't be, because that would still only put it at a $30 million market cap. And so something like Mask, I don't want to buy it at its all-time high, 52 cents. Would I start a position at 43 cents? I would, because the market cap is low and it's possible it breaks through that. In the back of my mind, though, I know it could go lower, and you just have to be mentally prepared for it. But for me, psychologically, I will start a position just to have skin in the game and to avoid FOMOing, because Naka is a perfect example. I missed it. I watched it, and I was buying games for a living, so whatever. I'm not mad. But I wanted a position in Naka, but I just didn't have the funds available. And it ran. And it swelled to a 90 right here, which was like a $90 million market cap. I saw it consolidating here and knocking at the door. And so I said, screw it, I'm going to start my position. And at least that way, it's like, now I have skin in the game. And now on a pullback, I'll get a sense of where it settles. And on a pullback, I can just dollar cost average in. As opposed to continuing to wait and then it runs up. Right? And it ran up. So I'm happy with that happened. I'm happy that I bought this a few days ago. Right? And I caught a nice 30% move. I bought down here, and I caught this 30% move. Now, I wouldn't buy it when it's in price discovery mode. I'm going to wait for it to settle because ultimately it's going to come back down and test. Even if Bitcoin goes sideways, rest of the market moves up. Something like this is at an all-time high. Something like this I would wait on. So it's like a case-by-case thing, something like Taraxa. This I would feel comfortable buying a position in because it's off its all-time high. If Bitcoin dumps, sure, it goes lower. But if Bitcoin goes sideways and the alts continue a little rally and it breaks an all-time high, now it's likely to go to 25 cents. That's like a key psychological level. All-time high, 23 cents. It's going to go to 25 cents, or I'm sorry, not 25 cents, 2.5 cents, which would be a 50% move. Is possible. So because this has gone sideways, I wouldn't be mad at but at the same time, for me, I'm always mindful of things could go down. And that's why I just dollar cost average. I don't do large sums at once. DCA. And then over 5 months, you build out your position and get ready. What's good? Sem in the house. Thanks, brother. Yes, Mask, Gfal, Rio. 3 that I love. I think Omi will reach Axie level of fame and market cap. I think it's hard. Let's see. So I think Axie caught lightning in a bottle. Where's my here we go. Axie caught lightning in a bottle. And I think it's hard to catch lightning in a bottle. I think that Omi can get into this $6, $7, $8 billion range if they execute. Maybe even a little higher, because it does have a strong narrative there and it's got a lot of things going on for it. But I don't know that it will. I wouldn't bet on it catching fire or catching lightning in a bottle, because I think those things are hard to predict. But I agree with Jordan. That would be insane. So Omi does have a bunch of upside, which is why we're all in it. I just try to temper my expectations. Yeah, make sure you guys hit the like button. I'm going to get through the rest of these messages, and then we've been on for almost 2 hours. That's crazy. Elemental Raiders by Gfal is a fun mobile game. Can't wait for AAA games. Good to know. Sorry to break the news, but nobody in crypto cares about Omi. It's funny. You're correct. Right now, no one is looking at Omi. Oh, they need to execute. If I'm looking at what I'm investing in right now, I think that there are many attractive plays. Michael, which are the best way to invest in Bitcoin miners, and which are the best ETFs? So I am not familiar with the miners. Yeah, there are stocks and stuff. Sorry, Michael. I don't know the answer to that. Once VVverse releases Omi utility, yeah, there are a lot of things that Omi has going for it. It's just a matter of execution. So we'll see. I wanted to do a stream on the altcoin spectrum because it's exciting, and I think that it's important for people to do research learn about these projects that are going to 50x, 100x in the next cycle. Start planning now because we're still early. We still have 5 months before the halving, and there are many, many gains to be made next cycle. So I want to thank you all for coming through and engaging in the chat. I'm going to try to do this on a weekly basis and break down different coins in the market, projects that I like. So I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.